very strong scaling potential and a good matchup into the puck. Your supports scale exceptionally well. I think both Shadow Shaman and Pugna can be very, very strong late game.
Yep.
And yeah, as you're seeing pointed out here from the observers, Shadow Shaman did go for the chicken fingers that they were talking about on the panel. I do like the choice as well for the exact same reasons. I think against ET in lane is very nice. Breaking Tombstone is obviously paramount against Undying in general. And Shadow Shaman, one of the few supports that actually has a pretty good shot at it with the Serpents. If he only has the one snake, it takes forever. How about having some more?
Yeah, is this not the most played support of the year by a long shot, or is it just me?
It's one. I mean,
is that confirmation bias?
He's also been banned a lot, right? So
True.
Usually the most played support of the year is not one of the best. It's just the one that always makes it through because it's not quite good enough to be banned a lot. I will say though, I see where the panel's coming from with this being a good potential game for the Faceless Void to truly carry, but I think Sven is one of the best core matchups into Void in this patch, actually. Historically speaking, Void does well against Sven because you're one of the few heroes that has hard lockdown as a carry in that matchup. But nowadays, a lot of the time, Void's games are about weaving in and out of fights a little bit more and resetting, regoing. Sven is arguably the single best carry at killing Void on his own, right? You just jump, you burst him 100 to 0, and you have the setup for it. You've got the instant Hex of a Lion, you've got Coil, Silence, ET even can be a part of an Earth Splitter combo. So I'm a little bit worried about, for Aurora, just the clarity that this is fine if it goes late. I don't think it's that straightforward.
How long does it take?
And also what we saw last game.
How long does it take for Void to get online these days? Because historically, this is a hero that just takes quite a bit.
Well, with the Helm of the Dominator popping up now, it's definitely accelerating him a bit. You can think of it as like just a better Midas. You're getting extra farm because the creep can help you farm. Either you can put the creep in the lane while you jungle, vice versa, or you can just play them together for faster speed at whatever you're doing. It gives you good stats. Helm of Iron Will is really good in lane, so definitely come online faster, but the Dom doesn't... It can also hit in your chrono, so it's some more damage, but it's not like Void is just going to crush the game at 15 minutes, right? It's not like...
Yeah.
He's still the same hero, but you've limited the weakness that used to be exploited the most, which is that early mid-game for him. So he'll come online, but I think the truly scary Void that you're used to seeing from highlight clips that's like chronoing and killing 2 or 3 heroes, that's the same as always.
Yeah.
It's late.
Very hard to deal with a late game Void. That has never changed. Especially with that 25 talent, if they choose to go for that, which is the AoE increase. Very scary indeed.
Backtrack chance has to be the choice against Sven, though, right?
I know.
You just have to take it.
But
I think.
the AoE, if you have like amazing setup, can just be game winning.
Yeah.
200 AoE when the radius is that wide to begin with is absurdly large. As Kiyotaka playing the Void Spirit this game versus XM's Puck. 14-5 so far for Kiyotaka, so slight advantage with a 10-0.
It's a good lane matchup for Void. It's unsurprising that Kiyotaka is doing well here. His laning last game was also fine on his Emperor versus Lesh, so I don't really feel like you can fault Kiyotaka too much for the laning stage. Last game, though, a couple of moments past the laning stage, dropped the ball a little bit. And that's part of my concern for this game as well, is we can talk all we want about the theory of the lineups, but at the end of the day, it's about what level of play are you bringing to the server, right? I think in game number 1, Kiyotaka was not on his A game, so he needs to level up for this game. I think if everybody plays to the same level as last game, Xtreme just played better, right? Like through and through. All their players did a great job in the fights. They had good target selection, good itemization.
Oh, really? I mean, we talked about Aurora did get off to a good start. It was really that first Roche fight that I feel like really turned the tables in Xtreme's favor, and they just never looked back after that.
Yeah, that's true. Xtreme genuinely won every engagement beyond that until the game was over. I don't think they lost a single skirmish. It was always a trade or them just getting kills.
And their trades were always support for core.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'll see if Toronto Toge has anything to say about this situation, though, playing the Dawn second game in a row. You talked about this being kind of the off lane of the patch right now. As this creep, this is interesting. Ame will eventually get it, pops the war cry as well. Apply a little bit of pressure to Mira as the Astral Spirit just shadowing him. Talk to me about the Pugna.
Yeah, There's a lot of value to Netherward here against Puck and the Lion, and it's also a bad lane matchup for. Oh, hang on.
That's first blood. So Mira did eventually go down.
Okay, and so did Panto. Okay. Talk to me about Pugna. Well, he's dead.
Yeah, that's not a good way to look at it. Is Nightfall trying to take out the Tombstone? Will be able to time walk away.
Yeah, so Pugna obviously has multiple benefits here. Netherward against high mana cost spells is nice. You've got Decrepify against ET, which in turn Xnova just avoided that lane. He has to pick his poison between Shadow Shaman and Pugna, and I think he'd rather play against the Shaman anyway. And you can't really talk about Decrepify against Sven, because Sven was picked last, right? So that's not a part of the equation here. It's overall a solid support. I think Pugna is pretty good this patch. I think we'll be seeing it a good amount this tournament. I believe some people even thought Pugna was going to be the support, which I'm not sure I agree with, but I definitely do place it in like the
It's been a long time since Pugna has been the support hero.
Yeah.
There was a time where, you know, Life Drain would give mana, right?
Yep.
And HP, of course. And it was used pretty consistently as like this support that did nothing but give mana to Storm.
The butler for Storm, yeah.
And it's been a long road back for Pugna, so good to see him getting back into the meta.
Why? I feel like I've never seen anyone run Lion as a battery for Storm.
I have.
Like, you have?
But it's a very poor man's version of the Pugna.
It's still level 4 mana drain is still okay. 600 mana in 5 seconds. It's not
the Remnant does connect. XM has the orb to try to get away. Actually gets a little fancy with it and dies as a result.
Oops.
So it has the curveball facet, trying to get a little bit of extra farm. Could have just gotten away, I feel like.
Well, that's a big kill.
Coolest facet in the game, though, I will say.
Curveball is very nice.
Very, very cool addition.
But this is, it's big for Aurora to get Kiyotaka on the board. You want Void Spirit to have a good start. This hero is very polarizing in my opinion. He has games that he takes over and games that he falls very flat. So, you know, a great fit for Kiyotaka. If he's having a bad game, he can just blame the hero. Be like,
that's
well,
really
I'm Void
big.
Spirit.
He just died to Lion by himself, basically.
Yeah, that is unexpected, to say the least. But yeah, if you could pick a singular hero in this game to have a good start, I would pick Void Spirit if I'm Aurora. Because this hero can really accelerate your game if he has the start that you're looking for, which is definitely the case here. Obviously, that time around, it comes at the expense of losing their Void, but maybe those two, or Faceless Void, let's be clear, there's 2 Voids. A worthwhile trade, if you could even say those 2 plays are connected. Might just have been a mess up on Nightfall's side.
Kiyotaka with the first power rune of the game, which is the Arcane. It's going to find a little Jin Q action. Panto there. Another Astral Step with some good body blocks as well. XXS actually places down his Tombstone to try to contest this, and Jin Q, is he actually going to live through this? Looks like that might be the case as Kiyotaka has to try to run away. Trying to go for the Tombstone, gets impaled in the meantime though. Does take out the Tombstone, getting some extra gold. As XXS now with a double decay, and it's going to force Kiyotaka out with not too much to show for it. In fact, it's going to be the death of the support instead for Panto as XM finally makes his way over.
Yeah, that was a very deep dive. They missed the Astral Remnant, I think, at that point. Or, excuse me, the Remnant. At that point, you're just probably not getting the kill. It was close, but diving that deep between the 2 towers at minute 7 is absolutely going to cost Pugna his life. Big damage onto Sven down bot, but the TP rotation.
Stormhammer, the God Strength coming out as well. Only the level 5 Dawnbreaker not able to use anything to get out of dodge. It does have Hammer up in a second, but just too much damage in this early game from Ame.
Ame says Stormhammer is the better one. And he's right that time. Power Rune taken away by Xnova. Yeah. Nothing here for Kiyotaka. Big rune snag. He's running out of mana. So this is a really awkward spot now for Kiyotaka. He's got 160 mana, no rune to claim. I guess he could get his own bounty rune, perhaps, if that's still there, but otherwise would be a long walk of shame or sending out multiple clarities. Is going to go for the standard Vessel build. Void Spirit, one of the few mid-heroes that more or less consistently does this, of course, being Universal, likes to buy it, and it's not really the best game for it, right? Like, what are you really countering with Vessel? Soul Rip?
I guess that's the only
Sven has some lifesteal. It's okay. You're mainly buying it for the damage because Void Spirit kind of needs to just get pushed over the edge with that. But I think some cases people maybe autopilot a little bit too much, and you could buy Dagon instead. You know, I don't dislike Dagon on this hero. I think it plays nicely into the pace that he's playing.
Yeah.
So in this particular game, I would have loved to see that choice also for bursting a hero like Puck, whereas Vessel isn't really going to finish the job. If you have a Dagon, you might just burst Puck in one go.
I mean, there's no way he's upgrading this, right? Is this just a casual earn?
I mean, he must be upgrading it, otherwise you wouldn't buy it, right?
Oh, okay.
I think.
That is a little weird.
Let's see.
And the helm being used now for Nightfall. It's the Centaur creep. And they're going to make their way over to the lane where XXS is playing very confidently in tower range right now.
He has
The Lord is placed. He's already at half HP though. Aether Remnant pop. There's the Centaur stomp. He gets his ult off here, which he will. Solar Guardian to follow, but he's dead already. Solar Guardian from Toronto Tokyo to try to help out. They will be able to get Jin Q on top of this, so double kill for Kiyotaka.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, that's a nice little find there as Tombstone not available. Dying, coming right back to life, TPing in and dying instantly. So using that innate to feed relentlessly, it seems.
Okay.
Ceaseless dirge, indeed.
That was already a good, successful move for Aurora, and a
The
nice...
bad manners pause to follow from Panto.
The classic double kill onto Undying minute 10. We have all become used to seeing this in our pub games, but usually it's for different reason. Yeah, just didn't think they have enough in the tank there to go for him again, but Aurora had more where that came from.
If he had saved his ult, then he would have been fine.
Yeah.
No doubt.
True. And I also think
really
maybe
late.
on this initial go, I think if you're planning to turn this around, you should ult instantly, right?
Yeah.
Like, he
This
used
was
it
too late.
so low.
Yeah, that was...
This ult does nothing. And then, yeah, as you said, on the second go around, doesn't have it. It's just funny. There's just... he didn't anticipate Mira coming in, to be fair. I think that was what got him by surprise. Their Shaman is there too, but yeah. Far from ideal here for XXS.
Yeah, that's going to put him behind a bit.
Not a very animated player. You saw his camera shot there. For a player that just died back-to-back like that, it looked like he just said, I'm dead.
Well, he's playing Undying, so
yeah.
got to get into character, I suppose.
Yeah, that's true. Not enough gummy vitamins this morning.
Did we ever figure, like, what is the lore, actual lore behind that line?
I don't know. Maybe it's a reference to another game or a movie or something. You would know if it's a movie, so it must be another game.
It's definitely not a movie, yeah.
And if neither of us knows, it's probably a book.
Yeah, it's probably something from the Bible.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. They had gummy vitamins.
One of the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt eat thine vitamins.
Delicious. Serpent Wards doing a good amount of work here to the tier 1. It will survive. Well, we'll see if Xtreme can... I mean, the game, in terms of net worth, is still quite even. Kiyotaka, though, leading the way in net worth at the moment. And it feels like any time a Sven is being played, he's always going to be in the top of the net worth. It's such a hard hero to contest.
Yeah. He is a level and a half ahead of the Faceless Void.
They get the finger, and that is the death of the Faceless Void and his Pine Cone. His trusty Pine Cone is dead. Oh, the death animation is beautiful, and then the sinking in the ground just ruins it.
Yeah, bodies decay really fast in this world,
Apparently.
actually.
I mean, it is biodegradable.
Well,
it is a Pine Cone.
That's fair.
Panto. Very
Unlike the other heroes that are made of plastic.
Well, if there's gummy vitamins in the Undying stomach, there's probably some plastic in there. We have a lot of microplastic in our guts, and I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yeah, that's just what I needed this morning, to be reminded of that. Yeah, overall...
Working on the Echo Saber.
The game state is pretty even, but I think the big difference right here is Sven's lead over Void. I know it's only 700 gold, which might not seem like a lot, but it's also the levels. Like, Ami is 2 full levels up against Nightfall, so expect this to accelerate even further. And the win probability does say the 60-40 for the Dire. Generally tends to love Faceless Void if it isn't losing too hard early, because this hero just is a late-game beast. And for all intents and purposes, I think Aurora are completely fine. Don't get me wrong. This game state is good enough for them. It's just, again, this is the type of game where the writing on the wall is this is going late, right? And we can't ignore the fact that Aurora and us alike feel like Aurora sometimes struggle late. So now you've drafted yourself into a lineup that has to play there and has to get there and overpower a team that Honestly, in my mind, Xtreme is one of the best late game teams in the world. The problem for them is why they don't get many trophies or top 3 finishes. A lot of their games, they just don't really get there.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes they get crushed in the laning stage, or their drafts don't really click, or whatever. But when things are working and they get late, I really like their chances. So this is another game that is probably getting to that stage. And I think a lot of pressure in this game for me is on Nightfall. Like, you gotta pop off on Void this game. I don't think your team is going to win this late if Faceless Void doesn't hit those big chronos.
Yeah, and he hasn't really pulled off the Nightfall either in this series so far.
True.
This is game 2, and we haven't seen a single maneuver yet.
Yeah, he even had 2 teleports to do it with last game.
Yeah.
Could have picked which one he wanted. He Nightfalled in.
That's true.
Oh,
For
that's
the Faceless
nice.
Void.
That's nice. This new feature with the past 5
Yeah,
minutes
it's-
GPM here,
it's
or
nice.
gold gained. So looks relatively even across the board with how much they gained. But yeah, compare the Sven and the Void, right?
Yeah, almost double.
195 XPM to the 77. He died, so it's not, you know. This is not just raw efficiency. There's obviously the kill coming into play, but if nothing else, this also shows how stifling it is to die as a carry. Like, how much does it cost in the equation when you die while the enemy carry is farming? It's big. Sven is doubling your numbers in the last 5 minutes on experience and gold on average, so you know which way that's going to continue to go.
Does Sven still have that shard that dispels? No.
No,
that's
it's
the war
the
cry.
undispellable war cry.
Okay.
The
I was gonna
dispel
say,
is
it would have been nice for the Decrepify.
the dispel is Aghanim Scepter, which
So they just added it on top.
yeah,
of
he
everything else.
could technically buy that this game. I don't think he will though. I think Nullifier is just probably better. Right?
Yeah.
More damage.
Yeah.
Some armor also is pretty helpful against Void Spirit, Dawn, and Faceless. There's a lot of physical there. A decent chunk of Faceless, or excuse me, Void Spirit's output is physical damage to an extent. I know all his spells are magical, but he's a universal hero. He hits quite a lot in fights, and so.
How are you feeling about Sister's Shroud? I had to think of the name there for a second. I keep thinking underwear. Sister Shroud, Cinderin, these days. Have you come around at all, or are you still a true hater?
I think, so in the pool of neutral items, it is the one I like the least, and I feel like that is a sentiment that is shared by the pro scene. Now, they did nerf it quite significantly this patch. It is still being picked up a lot. I think it's getting cycled out after TI. I think so. I hope so, too. I'm not personally an enjoyer in this. I think there's a lot of the other neutral items that I really like in concept. This is not my favorite.
Every time I turn on your stream, you have Sister Shroud in your inventory.
And I have Sister Shroud in my inventory, and I'm complaining about it while having it, too.
I'm not enjoying living right now. You're just so used to dying as a support.
That's right.
It's just been conditioned.
That's
it's
right.
actually kind of sad. You have some PTSD.
It's, without a doubt, it's a very polarizing item because the concept of having guaranteed evasion at minute 5 is, you know, ultimately it's the same for both teams, right? So it's not like it inherently favors a typical.
What was that
type of
neutral
playstyle or
that was
whatever.
good against TA before that they cycled out?
Exactly. That was the other one, right? The Gossamer Cave.
Yeah, Gossamer.
Yeah,
but that was a
this-
cooldown based.
Yeah. So
As Toronto Tokyo going to get surrounded. Flesh Golem activated from XXS.
Oh, that
and the
is-
TP instantly canceled because Jin Q is there with his million disables and the finger to delete Toronto Tokyo.
didn't get it off. His animation was stopped because the Decay took the kill. Jinkyu didn't look too phased by it. Not to be mistaken for faced by it. Of course, face wash, important to him. But now that Finger was unused, which I think is a good thing, you don't have to use Finger for guaranteed kills just to get stacks. I think, personally, that's pretty overrated. I think having the cooldown is much
Aether
better.
Remnant misses again. X-Nova, though, getting blocked by Kiyotaka. The Simile is there, but the Chronosphere is being used to just kill the one, but on top of the Undying now, XXS is going to be fine. Spirit Vessel applied to him. Ame gets the Stormhammer onto 2 heroes. Trying to go for the Rasta, but of course the foul play comes into play. No pun intended. Does kill him off in the end. Toronto Tokyo looks to be next for Ame in the midst of this Wisdom Shrine. It matters not. That's 2 dead. And now the coil snapping. Kiyotaka with another Dissimilate onto low ground with the Astral Step is going to be fine, although XM uses the Illusory Ore, but no more catch to follow up with. Several dead for Aurora as Xtreme taking full advantage.
It's actually quite important in this matchup. It didn't happen in that exact scenario, but the curveball facet on Puck against Void Spirit is potentially crucial. Just having that longer chase time on the orb and the better speed, you can when he jumps away with Aether Remnant, you can easily catch up, or rather with Astral Step. So, yeah, nice angle find there from Ame. And another... This is the second game in a row now. Toronto, Tokyo with these Solar Guardians. I feel like Aurora are not getting enough bang for their buck here with this first pick hero, right? This is the second game in a row they run it.
Yeah.
In game one, we didn't really have those, all right, Solar Guardian owned here.
Solar Guardian. It's like a New Jersey accent all of a sudden.
Solar Guardian. I
Maybe
talked to
Irish.
Trent a little bit in the green room. It's rubbing off on me.
Yeah, understood.
Guardian.
No, I would agree. It's been a bit underwhelming, but I don't know if it's entirely on him, though.
Oh, no, I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm saying that considering you're first picking this hero and this is like top meta, they're not completely setting it up for success. And also, to Xtreme's credit, not giving too many good opportunities to find those connections. When you are running a Dawnbreaker with stuns, you want to use that ability offensively. And they tried there onto Undying, didn't really get the kill, though, in the chrono. Just ran away. Aether Remnant accuracy now down to 15% here. Oh, I'm just pulling that number out.
But a follow-up hex from Mira. Get the life drain on top of him. X-Nova is going to try to channel. Does get off the Echo Stomp. The Earth Splitter to follow. Is going to hit one. That's going to be the deletion of Panto and another support to follow suit. So in the end, a 1 for 2 in favor of Xtreme again.
You're seeing a pattern with the item build on XXS? Because it's literally the exact same inventory as last game. Down to a T.
Yeah, that's true.
2 Bracer, Wand, Soul Ring, Phase Boots, Pipe, and lest we forget, of course, Phase Boots.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
He's not going to go Yules, though, I don't think, this game.
No, probably
Into
not.
AC.
He's going...
AC maybe at some point.
I mean, the Lotus is just great, right? You're gonna... If the enemy is buying a Vessel, you might as well Dispel it. Get Dispel, Offensive Decrepify. You want the armor. Undying has a lot of HP, but bad armor. So EHP-wise, any armor item goes a long way for him. So I think it's a pretty solid choice here. Now, Aurora will finally take down this pesky top tower. Took them a while, but they get there. And the Faceless Void of Nightfall now completing Maelstrom, so more farming speed. But again, this hero needs time.
Not ready to fight yet. We've only seen the one chrono so far from Nightfall. As the Maelstrom, as the coil.
Oh.
Will connect onto the one, but no follow-up it looks like. So with the coil expended, does Xtreme even want to continue here? Looks like they'll just be taking out the creep instead, and the tier 1 that is almost certainly going to be given up from Aurora.
It's good play from both teams there, though. Shaman, first of all, being in position to break that engagement, but also the discipline for Xtreme to not chase through there when you've spent the coil. Just recognizing that this situation is too risky. Gonna get counterplayed with a chrono, with a Dawn ulti. You'll compromise your positioning too much by diving for the Void, so you just call it quits, you take the tower, and you're happy with it.
XM, Aether Remnant going to be avoided thanks to the blink. XXS showing up now. Kiyotaka will just Astral Step to safety. So no fight to come as a haste rune taken by XM.
Might put it to use almost immediately here. They have eyes on Nightfall again. No coil, though,
Yeah,
but
it'll be tough.
Lion, of course, packs quite a bit of disable. No, not gonna reach.
Yeah, just being a bit of a nuisance.
And this time around, Ags first now for Toronto, Tokyo. So no BKB shenanigans. Spotted last game for the Glimpse at large. Not necessary this time, of course. So can go for the standard Ags rush. Very powerful item when you get it this early. I think part of the problem last game when you go BKB first and then Ags, the value of Ags has already gone down significantly by missing that 5, 6, 7, whatever minute window that you farmed it in. This time around, sub 20, just the overall impact of this ability, very, very strong. So look for Aurora to try to make moves. Void Spirit also closing in on his. The double silence against Puck and the supports of Lion and ET. Amazing item for the game.
Yeah, for sure. Nightfall in the meantime, working on upgrading his Maelstrom into the Mjolnir.
Yep. And Ame has now pulled ahead by 3K on it.
Yeah. I mean, we were expecting this to a degree, right? I mean, there's no way, even with the helm, no way you can really matchup to a Sven in terms of farm efficiency. As we have a smoke from Xtreme.
Ama being ahead by 80 CS, though, is...
Yeah, it's a little extreme. No pun intended.
It's more than you would have liked to see for the side of Aurora, for sure.
Yep, this is a setup for the Tormentor. Maybe looking for a pick-off beforehand, but no. Going to go straight for Tormy.
I wonder, in a game where Void has quote-unquote free farm, how many CS you can expect at minute 20. Because a hero like Sven, if he has free farm and you stack for him, he can close in on like 250, 300. Void right now has 140 minute 20. Obviously didn't have free farm either, so it's not fair to say, but I think with a Dominator into Maelstrom build, a benchmark for a really good game here is probably being close to 200, to be honest. So if you take that into account, Nightfall is quite a bit behind the mark of a great game. It's still good. Like it's not like his game is bad by any means, but definitely not having a great time. Those 2 deaths to his name slowed him down, but there comes the Mjolnir, and now BKB has to be the choice, and that's instantly queued up. Queued up Lincoln's too, though, so which one will it be? I don't think he's buying both. I would very much favor the BKB. I think it's just too risky.
Yeah, but he's not afraid of a little risk from time to time. You've seen his hairdo, Cinder.
Yeah. Love to talk about that. For whatever reason, you're obsessed with hairstyles.
Do I talk about hairstyles with anybody else?
No, so you're obsessed with Nightfall.
Yeah, maybe it's just a Nightfall thing. He takes the Wisdom Shrine himself, level 14. And
is the 15 talent good on Void? Not particularly. The time lock damage is okay.
He just wants to get as fast to 25 as possible.
Yeah, the 20 talent is sick.
Yeah, that's true.
Really, really good. Both of them are amazing, but obviously you're taking the right one if you're playing carry. I really do hope we get to see this hero in other roles than carry this tournament. There are games where time dilation is just the spell. We've seen it played in mid in the past sometimes, notably mainly by Topson. We've seen offlane Void sometimes. XXS is a player who would pull it out if it makes sense. And even support Void can work in the right circumstance, but yeah. Maybe it's just a pipe dream for me to see this hero in other roles. I love watching Void not carry. I think
that doesn't bode well for Nightfall this game.
In other roles than carry, not carrying the game from position 1.
But you don't like time zone.
No, I genuinely still think you can play it with Chrono in the other roles. You're just not. You need to draft it in such a way that the other heroes are killing in Chrono, not you. But your main skill when you're playing it non-carry is not your ult. Your main skill is time dilation.
Smoke versus smoke. Kiyotaka runs into both XXS and Jin Q, gets up similarly before the Hex comes through, getting slowed by the right clicks of XXS. And they're going to get the Waning Rift, though. XM gets the nice silence. They have the coil to follow. Kiyotaka in a lot of trouble. He's going to pop the Resident Pulse to try to stay alive. Gets the barrier, getting healed now from the sideline. As meanwhile, Ame just deletes Mirror off the face of the map. So 1 death already for Aurora as they try to hightail away. Attempted TP, and it is successful. So only 1 death in the midst of all that.
XM didn't jaunt to the previous orb. I think that was just a misplay. I think he was meant to connect there and then get an additional puck kill, or a Pugna kill, but okay. They get out relatively unscathed there on Aurora. I don't think that was too bad. You lose your Shaman. Obviously you had the Void Spirit jump in first and get caught by a couple of spells, but he did survive. So this isn't the biggest of deals. Also, Sven, of course, committing the ultimate will be a cooldown that you could potentially even play around. You didn't Chrono, so you have Chrono and Dawn ulti. I would really like to see Aurora just go for a smoke immediately, to be honest. Just try to take some initiative here and exploit the cooldowns. See if they do it. But again, notice the same pattern as the previous game. XXS is the one breaking the smokes, taking the first point of connection, and it's just unkillable. This time, instead of Mars, it's the Undying, but the logic and the overall idea of the strategy is the exact same.
Yeah, and even if he dies, like we saw at the beginning of the game, he could potentially just respawn right away anyway.
Yeah, true that.
And that would be probably more effective at any other point of the game than what we saw earlier.
Yeah.
So Roche attempt from Aurora. We saw this last game, and Echo Stomp is something you do have to worry about. Connects onto 1 hero, but also delays a bit. XXS getting in the exact same position we saw from last game again. Is this a replay from game number 1? No, Roche is a lot lower this time. Tombstone is placed. Nightfall able to snag the Aegis this time, though. So Aurora get away with it.
Yeah, that's good. Again, they needed to take some sort of initiative. I like the smoke angle. This is even better, unless the smoke could have also led to a Roche. So good heads-up play to take advantage of the cooldown of God Strength, and it did come up as Roche was about to die, and I think Xtreme just did not have time to set up a play for that. So we'll be conceding the Roshan to Aurora, and as a result, you can just farm up this BKB now on Faceless Void with this Aegis, and then maybe put it to good use.
A very early BKB for XM, by the way.
Interesting.
Not a item you see that often on Puck.
Yeah, it's very good against Void Spirit, right? You know there's the 2 silences, so if you buy Yules, it's not protection. You just come out of the Yules and get silenced again. It allows you to largely ignore Nether Ward as a factor. Oh. Ame. You don't hit that hard. Well, I guess you thought Xingqiu could connect in time. He hits hard enough on that guy.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But Void Spirit does get out, I guess. Yeah, Xingqiu was not in range in time. Obviously does not have the dagger online, opting to go Glimmer first. Again, carbon copy of last game. Xingqiu, ranged support, protecting with Glimmer, and playing backline. Now he will go dagger now as next
you
choice.
have 2 cores with dagger.
Yeah,
so.
you don't have to buy the Lion. Lion is just the best, right?
Like
because you have instant hex.
I feel like a lot of times we see when teams have these compositions where these heroes could buy Blink, they all buy Blink and it ends up being kind of too much.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Or it could have been distributed a little bit better onto whatever other items.
Yeah, and I think in this game you don't play Puck or Sven without it, right? So if anybody skips it, it's the Lion, which is quite rare. Usually, if Lion is in the game, he will buy the Blink and somebody else, like a core, can scale more or whatever. But the identity of Sven and Puck just rely too heavily on having Blink.
All right, Troll Summoner destroyed. XXS. What a riveting fight that was with the Decay.
He did win.
3 minutes on the Aegis for Nightfall. Has the BKB. Still queuing up the Lincolns, by the way. See if he opts for it in the end.
It protects him against
Stormhammer
Storm,
and then
Lion Hex. But
2 spells from Lion, right?
Yeah, the problem is if Lion is clutch, he will just Mana Drain first, right? So you have to... I think if he is buying it, it's mainly against Ame, because as we talked about after the draft, Sven, one of the few carries that can actually just obliterate Void. And the way you protect yourself from that is, if you have the Lincoln, Sven can't do it alone. So then they have to get a 2-hero play, which a lot of the time in fights, the way they break down, if Lion, let's say Lion is part of the initial round of spells in the fight, Sven can't just jump in and kill Void anymore. Lion's spells have already been expended. Yeah, I don't necessarily mind it. A little bit on the side of, do we have damage concerns again, like we did for Aurora Game 1? Like, does Void Spirit... Dawn this time, obviously, AC immediately after Ags, so definitely gonna hit.
Oh, we got the Hex. Open up with the Shackle to follow. Xingqiu, though, Impale, gonna buy a little bit of time. Toronto Tokyo's Soul Guardian, but again, Ame coming in from the north, deletes 2 supports, and Nightfall has to chrono and run away. Toronto Tokyo fingered to death. Didn't mean it that way, of course, Cinderin. Aurora, 3 dead, and the Aegis is just gonna expire the old-fashioned way. Just, Ame has seemingly come out of nowhere repeatedly in this game.
He keeps finding the right targets. I think this is just a beautiful showcase of what Sven is really good at, which is isolating and killing weak targets first is generally the go-to. We've talked about the Void counter, but it's infinitely better if you kill the supports and the fight just ends immediately. Like, when he casts his stun, this fight is over. And look at this angle. Beautifully, he TPs in from the top. They also have to be careful. They got caught by the sleep, too.
Yeah.
Like, just beautiful Echo Stomp setup. Very nice there from Xnova.
And Nightfall chronoed, hit Ame twice, and realized, okay, this is not a fight any longer.
No.
I am tickling him.
I think we're going to be seeing quite a bit more Sven this tournament, by the way. I have a feeling that this hero will go up in stocks and is one of the best carries right now in the for this meta. I don't think teams are able to punish Sven's or prevent him from farming enough of the time. And I think, especially if it's picked later in the draft, like in this game it was the 10th pick, so obviously it's a bit of a trump card, but a lot of the time when this hero gets picked late in the draft, do you have the tools to really solve him? To me, Sven needs... a farmed Sven needs specific counters to not find impact, right?
Yeah.
And with the carries being picked late in drafts, Sven is definitely worth
to some degree,
considering.
this is a byproduct of the map being so large, right? It's inherently going to cater to heroes that farm really well.
Yeah.
Which Sven is always going to be one of those with inherent cleave.
Absolutely. Oh, look at that hero damage on Nightfall. That is pitiful.
Yeah,
3.4k.
Waning Rift to start, XM.
Can we get a fantasy point
further.
breakdown for Nightfall for this game?
Do you have him on your fantasy team?
No. I heard a player that a lot of people have on their fantasy team, Yakutou, though.
Yes.
Got a rampage in his previous game.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
good for me. Ame
Good
takes
for you.
out Mira. Yeah, I definitely have Yakutou on my team.
Yeah.
I mean, he has the most rampages in TI history, I'm fairly certain, right?
I think that's right.
I just made that up, but I'm pretty sure I'm
think
still
you're
right.
I think you're right.
And Tormentor number 2. This time Ame getting the shard.
Oh.
So the Warcry getting just a little bit better for his team. Undispellable.
Passive 6 armor is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
This takes me back to Kataomi playing support Sven for Entity. They had their Sven Pudge strat with Pure, and then Kataomi would play the 4 Sven, rush Shard, and just always Warcry his Pudge, and he would have insane EHP. All right.
Oh, Nightfall, Chronosphere. Nova goes out with the...
Oh, the
he gets
tombstone save.
Grab allied. Oh, my goodness. As the Nightfall maneuver was successful this time, but it's going to be at the cost of a support as Ame and company just running through Aurora. The grab ally out of nowhere. I don't think he got that from any of the Tormentors, so he purchased that for exactly that purpose.
I think the play call there from Nightfall was, I'm going to ult and use Solar Guardian at the end of it so we can keep chain stun. And then he gets put in the tombstone and the fight's just over. Just lack of information there going for that play. To be honest, I don't even know if they would have killed him.
I was going to say, how would they kill him anyway?
He has 4,000 HP on the Sven.
Yeah.
I don't... Satanic? I don't know, man. Like...
All right, high ground attempt. Aurora's going to have their full 5 in just a moment.
Yeah, we were talking about late game here. Did we...
There's the God
ourselves?
Strength.
Are we even getting there?
Fortification comes out. Creep Wave is going to take all of that damage.
I mean, surely you can't kill him without Chrono, right? So Ami just gets a lane.
Yeah, looks like it.
I don't think Aurora are interested in this. Just have to let it go.
And that is going to be a lane of barracks in favor of Xtreme after a not so great Chronosphere in the end. But like you said, I mean, how often do we see a grab ally reveal quite like that?
All right, Sven just cracked level 25 after this camp, I believe. Don't check. What do you think is the highest level hero on the Dire?
18?
It's 19. That was a good guess. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, all 3 cores on the Dire are level 19. And if we do bring up the level chart, well, Sven is slightly ahead of everyone else. He's 5 levels above Puck.
Yep, a little bit.
Ame with a classic, true hard carry performance here. But not in the sense of, okay, I'm farming all game, showing up with 6 items. He has been to every meaningful fight and crushed it.
Indeed.
Just a totally clean game. 450 CS now at 30 minutes. And this bodes well for the 0.95% of the fans that chose Xtreme Gaming to get 4-0. If they could start off with a 2-0 start, that would obviously be good news for them.
And Ame is actually opting to go for Aghanim Scepter, so a lot earlier than, I mean, I guess he does have a ton. Oh, okay,
He swapped away again.
Damn.
I can understand why he was considering it. I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah. You'd basically be getting it to dispel Decrepify, which, in all honesty, hasn't really been that big of a factor this game in general.
Yeah, it's hard to use Decrepify when you're the one getting jumped by Sven every fight.
That's right.
Just fall flat immediately. Yeah,
It looks like it'll be an MKB instead.
Definitely not been a fun game for the Aurora supports. 1 and 13 combined in KD.
Yeah, it doesn't help when you get 2-shot.
No.
I mean, Rasta, that's the whole purpose, is to not get 1-shot, right?
Yeah,
you
the
stay
reason
alive a little bit longer.
Rasta gets 2-shot because of foul play. Pugner gets 1-shot.
True.
Yeah, tough. You can see now that Aurora are
Oh, my goodness.
testing out their BKBs.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
They're getting more and more cornered on the map.
He looks so derpy there. Why? All right, so things just getting worse for Aurora. Maybe need to check their hotkeys a bit here. Xtreme, of course, didn't have. I don't think they had vision there, so they don't have the information. But if they take a fight now, then well, they're going to be even more at an advantage. In the next 70 seconds, that is. And there is a smoke from Xtreme. First series of the day, Cinderin. We were expecting this to go 3. Not looking like that's going to be the case, but of course...
You were expecting this to go 3. Don't put words in my mouth. I never said it was going to be 3 games.
Well, you didn't say...
Everybody else said that.
You didn't refute it either, so...
No, that's how you play it safe. I feel...
The best kind of analyst, yeah.
I do not feel strongly about it one way or another.
We talk about the MKB.
I will
Instead,
say,
it's a Swift Blink for Ame.
With the way this is going, let's just entertain the idea that this continues and Xtreme kind of crushed this game. I would say going into today, I would have not expected the series to be this one-sided for either team. Like, regardless of score, I did not think the teams were seemingly, so far based on today, this separated in terms of just their prowess that they've shown.
Yep, as the Roshan will be attempted from Xtreme, and you can tell by the top of your screen, the smoke comes out from Aurora. It means they want to contest. Rosh is already at half HP, though.
Oh.
XXS in that Flesh Golem form as well, and the Tombstone is placed in the pit. There's the Hex to start things out. XM getting the brunt of the damage onto the Rasta. The coil comes out as well as Ame just cleans up Rosh himself. Oh, 2 shots, Nightfall, goodbye.
Oh,
as
no.
Kiyotaka's BKB finally comes back online. He gets the support for his troubles. As you can see, the Dawnbreaker able to BKB out. And now the pursuit of the supports and Kiyotaka. Stormhammer connects, and that's a Thor that gets ethereal there from a moment from Panto, but in the end, the Crepify can only do so much. So a 2 for 1, and likely to be a 3rd. So Xtreme get basically everything that they want. They get Rosh all the goodies. They delete the Faceless Void in 2 hits.
Realistically speaking, the only way you win this Rosh fight is by finding the backline. When Aurora go into the pit and they throw an Aether Remnant and the target they connect on is Undying, they can't go on him first. Yeah. Even if they somehow kill him, he's immediately back in the fight with everything. And Sven is unaccounted for in the pit. You can't... Not to sound like a broken record, but again, damage issues, right? Can you actually kill the big cores that you have to get through? And if the answer is no, you never go on them first. You have to, this smoke, it has to wrap around fully. It has to find Lion, ET. If you can somehow pick them off first, maybe you can build a fight around that. But again, this just leads to yet another team fight with unexpended ults. We never got a Chrono, we never got a Solar Guardian. They just couldn't find an entry.
And Nightfall ready to go now, potentially.
All right.
Doesn't use the Chrono. Ame literally just standing still, hitting buildings, will get the second lane. And the Hex from Mira.
Okay.
Kiyotaka on the sidelines as XM coming in with the coil onto 2. Nice heals from Panto. But the Stormhammer coming in. Ame wants to get in deep. He gets the 1 kill. And it back and forth from Nightfall. As you can see, the reset was there, but Ame now with that God Strength available. Earthsplitter does a decent amount, but Nightfall able to time walk most of it away. Toronto Tokyo getting on top of the Sven. Remember, this is still an Aegis Sven who just brushes off the damage with that Satanic. Gets back to full HP, brings him back with the Harpoon, but the Chronosphere is there with the Life Break on top of him. This could be enough to take out life number 1 of Ame. Can you do it again, though, is the question. Ame pops the Warcry. Basically invincible now as a result. Finger of Death deletes Toronto Tokyo, and it looks like Nightfall is next on the list, although Time Walks gets most of his HP back as a result. Kiyotaka, in the midst of all this, doing a decent amount of damage, takes out another support. So Lion dead again. Toronto Tokyo is going to get harpooned back into the arms of Ame. That's a double kill for XXS, though, as Nightfall and Kiyotaka, last remaining members of Aurora, as it looks like this game 2 will likely just come to an end right now.
They just cannot deal with Ame.
GG's come out, so Xtreme 2-0, pretty convincingly.
10,
Really
0,
impressive.
and 10. I'm sure Fear has a little smile on his face. Obviously, a big Sven enjoyer himself, one of his favorite heroes of all time. Of course, second only to Clink